Hey guys, welcome back after showing you the Ryziel deck that will come to Master Duel in the future and will definitely dominate. I also want to show you the second big archetype that will come that is notably a bit weaker, but those were the two archetypes that have come to the OCG and will come to the TCG in early December in the deck building pack crossover breakers. And we will also get this at the beginning of the year, probably being two of the most dominant archetypes ever. With the first wave, that's something to be said because it's just the first wave of support cards for MALICE and for Ryziel, and both of them are dominating. Ryziel, especially if you have not seen the Ryziel video, go check that out in the top right corner. But what is MALICE? MALICE is a link archetype that's all about banishing. So all of the cards, we will start for one card, MALICE P Dormoose. All of these have this effect. So all MALICE card basically is all monsters. If this card is banished, we can pay X life points and then special summon this card. And then there's some extra condition here. In this case, we cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except link monsters, which it's okay. It's no big problem. Menacing monsters that point to this card cannot produce uppercut effects, and we can only use each of the following effects of MALICE once per turn. We can, during the main phase, banish one MALICE monster from our deck. So we can banish the MALICE monsters and then they can be resummoned. And as you can see, MALICE Dormouse is a good starter. Just because we can do that, we can just play her and then activate her effect to banish one of the other three MALICE base monsters. Can now activate, pay 300 and be summoned to the field here, the White Rabbit. If this card is normal or special summoned, we can set one MALICE trap from our deck with a different name from the cards in our graveyard. And once again, this has the summon effect. So we definitely want to loop all of them in our first turn, and all of them should be summoned once in order to link climb and make the most out of the bodies. We are setting a MALICE CTB11, strange name. We can activate this card and all of the MALICE traps by the turn was set by banishing one face MALICE monster we control, which is nice because then obviously it can come back. We can special summon it once again. Special summon one MALICE monster from your deck, or if your opponent controls 3 or more cards, you can special summon one MALICE link monster from your extra deck. Can be very nice in breaking the opponent's boards. The summon monster cannot attack or activate its effect. So now we can continue. We are going link 2 into Dkayed Lizardos, which is a card that we will also get support card here that can for cost banish a card from our graveyard and then gain some life point, some attack points, which is why we are using it here. We are sending this MALICE Dormouse to the banishment, and now we can activate her because we have not activated her, and we can resummon her. Next thing we are going to do is continue the climb into MALICE Q Red Ransom. We need 2 monsters, including a MALICE monster, where this card points to a monster. Switch the original attack and defense of all effect monsters your opponent controls. Very interesting. Obviously could be come in handy when we want to clear our opponent's board. You can only use each of the following once per turn. If this card is special summoned, we can add one MALICE spell. So this is our spell searcher from deck to hand, and if this card is banished, we can pay 900 life points, so it's a bit more expensive, and special summon this card. Then we can also banish one CYBERSE monster from our deck, which we will be able to make advantage of. So we are grabbing the field spell MALICE in Underground, which at this point we are at the 4th summon, but the MALICE in Underground can protect us from Nibiru since we can continue playing, since we didn't use the 3rd little MALICE girl in order to special summon her from the banishment, which is something that we can do if we get nipped at any point. So the combo I'm showing you here is not only a 1-card combo, it's also a nip safe. You can play or can continue your play if you get nipped. So we have MALICE in the Underground. When this card is activated, we can banish one MALICE card from hand, deck, or graveyard. Very nice, giving us obviously the starters. While you have 3 or more banished MALICE traps with different names, MALICE link monsters we control gain a 3000 attack. Can be nice for finishing. And while you control any MALICE link monsters, your opponent monsters can only target those monsters for attacks, which is nice obviously because they have a lot of attack and can protect the other cards. We are keeping this in the hand. Now we activate the MALICE CBTB11. We can activate this by banishing one and then summon the last one that remains, the Cheshire Cat. And now because the Red Ransom has been banished by the trap, we can obviously also resummon the Red Ransom here. Cheshire Cat says during our main phase we can banish one MALICE card from our hand, and then we can draw 2 cards. Very nice. We will be able to draw 3 cards in this combo, which is actually a lot. The deck can play a lot of non-engine, giving it an extreme power boost, and then obviously once again this girl can be resummoned when it gets banished. We are now, after summoning the MALICE Red Ransom, again have the ability to banish a CYBERSE monster from deck. We are choosing the Dotscaper. If you're not aware, if this card gets banished, we can resummon it, but it leaves the field or gets banished again after it leaves the field. So we summon him and then we go into the Link Disciple, the old package. So we have a down arrow going into a link decoder, which can come back from the graveyard when it's being used for a link summon for a link 3 or higher, which we are going into the Firewall Dragon. And now we can activate link decoder, coming back to the field and activate a Firewall Dragon's effect, which allows us to add a CYBERSE monster from our grave to our hand. This is nice because we will be able in a moment to once again summon the White Rabbit. And we are going a link 2 into CYBERSE Wicked, and now we can activate the second effect of the Firewall Dragon, which says if a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard, we can special summon one CYBERSE monster from our hand. Very nice. Another extender. We only started with one CYBERSE monster and we already have a link 4, a link 2 and an extra body on the field. This will obviously, because a card was summoned to the arrow that CYBERSE Wicked points to was summoned, we can now banish a link monster, or I think a CYBERSE monster from our graveyard and add one CYBERSE tuner. There is where Mathematic Sigma comes into play, and this is nice because now we can get rid of our Malice in Underground for the effect of the White Rabbit to draw 2 cards basically. Or is this this one that draws 2 cards? Oh no, this is not the one, but we will get to her in a second here. But in a moment we will be able to get rid of the Malice in Underground that was protecting us from Nibiru, because now we have another way, the Mathematic Sigma, in order to continue our plays in case we should get Nibiru. This can be special summoned when there is no card in the extra monster zone, which there would not be if there is a Nibiru. So we are going Malice Q White Binder, the next Malice monster, link 3. If this card is special summoned, we can target up to 3 cards in any graveyard, banish them. This will be used as an interruption on our opponent's turn. During a main phase, we can set one Malice Trap from our Draco graveyard. This is nice. And if this card is banished, we can once again pay 900 life points, special summon this, and draw another card then. That's very nice. So we are choosing 2 cards here, in this case our own cards, to be banished. We have used the Cheshire Cat not to be special summoned again from the banish pile, which is what we can do now, getting the cat back, and she is now able to be activated in a moment. We can also obviously set a trap. We are setting the GVC 06 for our opponent's turn, and then we can go Cheshire Cat, banish Malice in Underground, and draw 2 cards, and this could be 2 more interruptions. We are continuing climbing into SP Little Knight, which is once again a nip save here, because if we are getting hit with the nip, we can just Little Knight these away, get them back in the end phase, and then the Firewall Dragon would also be reset. Very nice. We can now banish our White Binder with the SP Little Knight, triggering the effect to resummon her once again, and once again draw an extra card here. So we have 3 cards drawn, which all of them could be hand traps obviously. Then we can go Sigma because our extra monster zone is empty. We go Link 5 into Firewall Dragon, Dark Fluid, Neo Tempest, Terahertz, sending the CYBERSE Device Worm to the grave, which is now a spell trap negate as long as this guy is on the field. And then we are going to pass over to our opponent. So we now have our SP Little Knight, we have our Terahertz, CYBERSE Device Worm negate combo. We have 3 cards that we have drawn in addition to the 4 cards that are still in our hands, so most likely a lot of hand traps being here. And then we have the Malice GVC 06, which can basically summon another Malice monster. We would then be able to resummon the Malice monster from our graveyard that is able to set a trap, which would then give us the ability to once again set, for example, either TB11, sorry, or the other remaining trap. We also have the ability, this one I messed up a bit, but there is normally a Decode, a Soul of Code in the deck, which is the monster you normally play in Salamangreat. The Soul of Code we would now be able on our opponent's turn via the Dark Tempest Terahertz to send the Code of Soul to the graveyard, and if it's in the graveyard we can then link summon a link 3 or higher, I think, which would give us the ability to summon the Malice Q Hordes of Crypta, the boss monster basically. This would also be on our field on our opponent's turn. It says quick effect, we can target one of our banished Malice cards, shuffle it into the deck, and if we do that we can banish 1 card on the field. And once again, if this card is then banished, we can summon her again and the attack points become double. So we have a lot of interruptions here, and we have a lot of follow-up and most likely a lot of hand traps also. Let us hop over into the deck list and I'll show you how potential a Malice deck could look like in Master Duel. So looking at the deck, this is how this could look like. We have triple the Malice P Dorma Mouse, our best starter, but obviously you can also get something done with the other monsters. We have our one Mathmech Sigma and the Dotscaper as an extender. A lot of cards in the deck being extenders. We have 2 Cheshire Cat and then 3 White Rabbit. We have the GVC06 as well as the TB11 and the MTP07. You can activate this card the turn of set by banishing one face-up Malice monster you control. Add one Malice monster from our deck to the hand. Then if you control a Malice Link monster, we can banish one card on the field. This is the one I was talking about, that we would be able. So what we would do on our opponent's turn, I couldn't show you because I messed the setup up a bit, is that we activate the GVC06, which says we can special summon one Malice monster from our graveyard or banishment, which then would be the Malice monster, the White Rabbit, that gives us the ability to set a trap. We would then set the MTP07, and we could activate the MTP07 by banishing our Hordes of Crypta or our White Rabbit, and then we would have another banish on top of this banish and the search we get from her, as well as the other interruptions I showed you. So these are the 3 trap cards we are playing. We are playing triple Malice in Underground because this is obviously also a very good starter, giving us access to our Dar moves. We're playing the Called by Crossout package. We can play triple Infinite Impermanence. We are playing triple Maxi. I needed to put this on the OCG ban list, but obviously we are playing triple Maxi. Triple Ash Blossom. Then in the future we unfortunately will only be able to play one Dimension Shifter. This can definitely help the deck since everything getting banished can be resummoned. So this is a very good Shifter deck, but with the new ban list announcement of Shifter going to 1, it's obviously worse. We have Bestial Jerusalem, Bestial Magnamut, as well as Bestial Baldrick. Could be other hand traps if you wanted to, but the cool thing about the Bestials is that these guys are all dark and the extra deck monsters are also dark, so we have the ability to banish our own monsters and they will be resummoned, which is why the Bestials are so nice in here. But obviously if the meta game doesn't really support the Bestials, then you might cut them. We have one Gold Sarcophagus, really nice here, banish one card from your deck face up, so we can banish something and then summon it. Obviously we are playing, or at least this is playing the new Dominus Impulse, which at the time that this comes out we should already have in the game. It's a new staple card that you will probably play in nearly every deck at 3 if your deck can play it. It says if your opponent controls a card, you can activate this card from your hand like an Imperm. When a card or effect is activated, that includes an effect that special summons a monster, so a lot of effects, originals, Sinful Spoils, Branded Fusion, negate that effect. Then if you have a trap in your graveyard, destroy that card. If you activated this card from your hand, so under this condition and not have set it, you cannot activate the effects of Light, Earth and Wind monsters for the rest of this duel, which is obviously not the greatest, but at this point you probably have already used the most important ones, XC for example, and your main monsters are dark monsters. We are playing triple Nibiru here, then we are playing Silent Mining to get to our starters, and the Code of Soul, which is the card that I talked about. This card is being used with the Tempest Terahertz to be sent on our opponent's turn in order to summon the Hordes of Crypta. We're playing one Hordes of Crypta, one White Binder and one Red Ransom, one Splash Mage, one of the best extra deck staples for any CYBERSE Link deck. Link Decoder, you've just seen the Firewall Dragon, Darkroot Neo, Tempest Terahertz, the Firewall Dragon, CYBERSE Device Worm, SP Little Light. Unfortunately won't be able to use her as an interruption on our opponent's turn. You might want to put in a second one maybe. Link Spider, we have a Link Disciple, the Hazard Legados and IP Masquerina, as well as Link Devotee and CYBERSE Wicked. So this is the Malice deck, the new CYBERSE deck. It's like Mathmech but without the Mathmech stuff, and now we have the Malice stuff, and you basically have the exact same Link toolkit, the only addition being Link monsters that are actually Malice monsters. In Mathmech we didn't use the boss monster, so this is definitely the difference. A very strong deck, very consistent, that can also play a lot of non-engine, and at the moment is the second best deck in the OCG behind Ryziel. As I already said, if you have not seen the Ryziel video, go check that out in the top right corner. Otherwise, let me know in the comments what you think of this deck. Are you planning on playing it? I personally don't really like the deck. CYBERSE Link decks are okay. I liked Mathmech, but from an artwork perspective, I don't really feel these Malice cards. I have to say I'm very hyped for Ryziel, though. I think the archetype is very nice, looking like Bionicles from the past. Let me know what you think here. Thanks for being here. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell, and we will see each other in the next one.